What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Heckshot and thank you guys for joining us for a review on the Smith & Wesson Victory 22. This gun has been out for a few months now and there's a lot of interest around it for good reason, and we were fortunate enough to have Smith & Wesson send this one to us. Big shout out to those guys and thank you again for the support. So we're going to talk about everything in this review, and this is one thing I love about Smith & Wesson is there is no conversations about what my reviews will be on their guns. It's always, we'll get it right out to you, do your review the way that you always do it. So what we get to do is what we always do. Even though they sent us the gun, pros and cons, shooting, breakdown, all the features, everything that we know about it, we're going to relay it back to you. And hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, you get a cardboard box. Let's open it up. You're going to get the gun. All right, really sharp looking gun, target style. Looks really different than any, it kind of reminds me of the Mark IV, Mark III series from Ruger. It kind of has that kind of look to it. It's pretty heavy as well. When you put it in your hand, you can definitely feel a good amount of weight there. You're also going to get this right here, which is cool that it comes with it. If I can get it out of the packaging. And basically this is just an extra sight option. So if you want to run an optic on the top here, all you got to do is remove that one screw and replace it with that, and now you're going to have the blacked out rear sights, and you can put your optic on there. So that comes with it. You're going to have two 10-round magazines. All right, one here, one in the gun. And then you'll also get a tool for disassembly, little Allen wrench, your lock, paperwork, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and get the box out of the way and talk about the gun. Let's go ahead and talk about the overall specs here really quick. The weight is 36 ounces. So like I said, it is pretty heavy. This isn't something you're going to carry or anything like that. So the weight just makes it really comfortable to shoot. I mean, the recoil on a 22 with this gun is basically nothing. I mean, it really is really great to teach somebody on or whatever. Barrel length is 5.5 inches. It is interchangeable. All right, so there are barrel options available. They're like fluted options. So you can just remove that one screw. There's a screw in here that you remove, and you can just swap your barrel. So that's pretty cool. Overall length is 9.2 inches. And overall, it's just a great looking gun. You have a single action trigger, which we'll show you after the shooting part of the review, with an internal hammer. It's a blowback design, one screw takedown, which is pretty impressive in the world of 22s. You have your fiber optic sights, so you have an adjustable one back here, which we did have to adjust it out of the box. And then up here you have your fiber optic as well. And you can see that sight picture, especially when the daylight is hitting those things, just how bright they really are. Stainless steel, slide, barrel, everything that you see. And then you also have a satin finish over the top of that. Your magazine button release right here. It is not ambidextrous, but it is pretty responsive actually. It's really easy to get to. Now me having smaller hands, I got to camp my hand a little bit, get to it, and then pull the magazine out. You have your slide stop right here. So basically, it's a little bit different on this setup because of the way the slide is so light, and it has to be with 22 or you're going to have malfunctions all day long. So basically I just reach my hand over the top and then push the slide stop up like that. And then you can also release it if you want to do that. And then your manual safety. Really positive click going up, and much easier to swipe off. And that's the way you want it. Positive click up, easy to swipe off. So very cool there. The other side of the gun is clean. You don't have any controls or anything like that. Also, there's a threaded and a non-threaded option. We went with the threaded option because we're fortunate enough to be working with Silencer Shop, and those guys sent us some suppressors for it. So we did run it suppressed and unsuppressed as well. The grip texture on this gun is fantastic. Smith & Wesson has stepped up their game as far as grip textures and stuff. You have the little squigglies right in there, and then on the back strap it's checkered, and then on the front strap it's checkered as well. You also have a serrated trigger, and there is a magazine disconnect, but on a gun like this, it's not a carry gun or anything like that. I feel that that is acceptable. So let's go ahead and show you how it breaks down here really quick. It is super easy to do. Take your supplied Allen wrench, and with this one screw, just loosen it up. And I think Ruger now with their new Mark IV is doing the one screw takedown as well. But from what I know, these target pistols and 22s in general, they were a bear to take apart. So having a one screw takedown is not bad at all, especially compared to what they were. You can see there's some Loctite on that screw, and all you do is you just lift up and out, and then here's your screw where you can remove your barrel, and I'll show you how easy that is to do. Just unloosen that right there.
Face it towards me.
Unloosen that right there, and then pull the barrel out. And just like that, everything falls out. So there you go. Let's go ahead and put the barrel back on here really quick. Thread it back in there and then tighten it up. Just like that. All right. Now the slide came out with it while I was doing that. And then if you want to remove your recoil spring right here and guide rod, all you do, I've just been taking the Allen key, you press it in and then push it over just a little bit, and it's not captive, so you definitely want to be careful with that. And then you can see your ejector, extractor, all that good stuff right there. On the back right here is where your firing pin is. All right, so there's your firing pin, and then here's your hammer, your internal hammer right there. All right, so really quality build, easy to get back together and take apart and all that good stuff. And then when you want to put this recoil spring guide rod assembly here together, get it pushed in there and then push it over just a little bit and get it in there just like that. All right, so to put it back together, all you're going to do, slide it in, drop it down. One thing I've had happen very recently, basically just now, is the recoil spring. You would definitely want to make sure that thing is lined up perfectly, because it was not just now, and for about 10-15 minutes I was trying to get this thing back together. So just make sure you have that recoil spring in there straight. Make sure your screw is tight, and that's it to get it fully disassembled and everything. So let's show you guys some shooting, and we will see you guys in a minute. We'll show you that trigger, talk about pros and cons, and overall feelings about the Smith & Wesson Victory. We will see you guys in a minute. All right, here we go. Nice. Take some shots on the shoot steel target down there. Super white.
There we go.
All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We did a bunch of shooting with this thing, suppressed and unsuppressed, and had a great time with it. Let me go ahead and show you the trigger, and then we'll talk about how the shooting experience was with this thing. We'll show you the trigger a couple of times at least. Get this thing set. Oh, magazine disconnect. I'm not a fan of that at all, but it being a target gun, it's okay. Oh, safety. All kinds of things stopping me from pulling this trigger. All right, let's try it one more time here. All right, 4 pounds 2 ounces. Cycle the slide. One thing about it is you're going to be pulling back the hammer when you do that. On the last shot, or when you're trying to demonstrate a trigger pull. So it's a little bit tough trying to get that slide back over and get that hammer pushed down as well. 4 pounds 1 ounce. So right in that 4 pound range, it really, really is a great trigger for sure. Let's drop this back down here. Let me show you the trigger. You have just the slightest bit of take up there, a little bit of creep, and it breaks. All right, so we got it reset. Drop the magazine. There's your reset. Let's try one more time here. All right. Right there. There's your reset, and it breaks again. All right, so, whenever you actually load up the gun, and if it's not cocked already, that's the only time that you'll get that kind of tough pull on that first shot. So just keep that in mind. As far as shooting the gun, though, this is where the beauty of this gun is. It looks a little funky. I actually like the way it looks. It looks different, but some people might say it's ugly or whatever, but shooting this gun is an absolute dream. Me, Mrs. Hex shot, and our 2 boys both shot this gun, and it is such a blast. I mean, there is no recoil at all. And what we did, once we pulled it out of the box, and we got this rear sight adjusted down because it was hitting a little bit high at first. Once we got this thing on, man, it was just on all the time. I mean, and we were shooting tiny little spinner targets and little clay targets on the wheel and all that kind of stuff. And we were only, shooting out to 10 yards of that stuff. But we also put our shoot steel target out at 25 yards and just consistently, shot after shot, hitting that thing. It is an amazing shooter. Fiber optic sights work really well. So if you're looking for a target gun, something to teach the kids on or whatever, this is definitely a gun you want to look at for sure. We ran all kinds of ammo as well, and being a 22, we know that 22s can be kind of finicky sometimes. There were some issues mainly with one of the suppressors that we were running. We did a review on 2 of those that we actually ran on this gun. So if you want to go over and check those out. But one of the suppressors we were running was having some issues there. Whenever we ran it unsuppressed, or when we ran it with the El Camino suppressor, the thing did fabulous. I mean, it really, really did. Unsuppressed, I don't even think we had one single issue when we ran it unsuppressed at all. So that's pretty impressive for a 22, because once they start getting dirtier, you're going to have some of those malfunctions. But this thing really did a great job as far as that. So, all right, so let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons. First of all, fun to shoot, man. If you want something just to plink around with, this is a gun that is so much fun. Great trigger, priced really well. I don't know if we mentioned that, but they're around in the $400 range, somewhere in there, so that's not too bad. Great natural feel in the hand when you point this thing out. It just feels really natural to point it out, get on target. Those sights are awesome. They work really well in the daytime. The safety is really positive on it. Switching from my hands to Mrs. Headshot to the boys, it seemed like all of us were able to get a decent hold on it. And the trigger being so far back as well, it's a great training pistol because the trigger is right there. You don't have to reach really far and try to pull the trigger or whatever. So even my 6-year-old was able to pull the trigger on this gun. And that's pretty impressive. That's what you want in a target gun like this, something that everybody can kind of get their hands into and shoot. Other than all that, it is a great suppressor host. Like we said, we ran a couple of suppressors on it, and it did pretty well, and easy to break down and clean and do whatever you need to do with it. So there are definitely a lot of pros with this gun. One of the cons that we were having was from time to time the slide would not go fully into battery, so you'd pull the trigger, nothing would happen, and that's because the slide was too far back, so the hammer couldn't drop on the rim of the case. All right, so loading the mags can be a little bit of a hassle. Once you get it to about right here, you really start to feel it in your thumbs. I know that sounds kind of like a wuss thing to say, but some people may have an issue trying to get that spring all the way down and loading rounds at the same time. We've got used to it by now, and it's not really a big deal, but I did want to point it out. It can be a little bit tedious on your thumbs for sure, so just keep that in mind. And also the mags, dropping the mags, when you press that release, you'll get this effect sometimes. Even with the slide back, you'll get that effect where it just won't drop fully, okay? And you just have to pull it out. Not a big deal, but something I wanted to mention for sure. So overall, the 22 Victory, I think it is an amazing target gun, training gun, plinking gun, whatever you want it to be. It can fit those roles really well, different looking, and when people see it, they're going to be like, what is that? And you can kind of tell them all about it. Like I said, it does look different. It feels good in the hand. It shoots amazing, very accurate. I really like it a lot. Smith & Wesson may not be getting this one back. I may have to buy this one from them. Awesome 22 target plinking pistol from Smith & Wesson. Of course, I want to know what you guys think. Make sure you leave me a comment down below about what you think about the Victory. We will see you guys in the next one. And as always, hold them down.